Hey guys,
I
we
don't
ready
know.
to start?
Yeah.
I think so. I think we need to take a 2-minute break and get water.
True, I forgot to get my water ready and I just realized it. I mean, I almost forgot to start the stream.
He said, "Oops."
Whoops. Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I am your host, Danny K. With me, as always, my wonderful, beautiful co-host, MrGreenElite. How you doing, GreenElite?
I'm doing fantastic, and guess what? I'm hydrated.
Proud of you. I have made mistakes myself. Um,
Oh, I know.
with us this week, the cheeky piece of shit
Wait,
that is
wait.
Revsven.
Wait a second. Cheeky though? I agree with the rest of that, but cheeky?
The devilish prankster himself, Revsven. How you doing, Revsven?
Oh man, I am doing fantastic.
So
I've drank a lot of coffee, so I'm hyper.
so for those who don't follow me on Twitter or don't follow Rev on Twitter or watch this stream today, I went to go edit my stream yesterday before I went live, and the title said I'm a sexy little tiger. I had two thoughts running through my mind. Either one of these two bastards,
Spoiler alert, it was me.
who are editors on my channel, changed it, or someone got into my Twitch account without me realizing it. So I spent the better half of 15 minutes panicking the fuck out, changing my password.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
I changed my password and had to re-log in and reauthorize all my apps and everything. The better part of 15 minutes while trying to figure out who did it.
I feel bad.
No,
Okay.
it was pretty fucking funny. In hindsight, I mean, because the whole part of a prank is seeing the panic and horror in somebody's reaction first, and then them realizing it was okay.
Yeah, I got the message like, hey, did you edit my channel? I was like, what? He goes, somebody changed my stream title to I'm a sexy little tiger. I was like, all right, maybe it was me.
I think he hit me up first too, and he's like, "Did you change my shit to I'm a sexy little tiger?" I'm like, and I'm reading this, and I physically say out loud, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, I was confused. I have never been more confused. I've never had anyone ask me if I've ever changed and said the words "I'm a sexy little tiger." It was good.
Dude, my cheeks are hurting so bad right now.
Here's what makes this even funnier was that Green said, well, was it one of the mods? Was it Bazzy Boo? And I'm like, you know what? Anything could fucking happen. So I went into Baz's chat and I asked him, because he was live. I'm like, Baz, did you change the title of my stream? He goes, wait, would I even be able to do that? And I'm like, you're a mod, you might be able to. He's like, yeah, just by I think you know the answer. And I'm like, yeah. And then you responded back to me. So
I gotta say though, kudos to you for just sticking with it, just tacking a couple of things on to it and leaving it. Like, he left I'm a sexy little tiger, but then just added his commands after. So I was like, you're a champ. You're a champ, Danny.
Yeah. So sorry, I got distracted by OBS wanting to crash the stream, it seems. We're still good. We're still live. We got lots to talk about today. Shenanigans aside, before we get into the meat of the show, I want to remind everyone that we are sponsoring SWA Motorsports racer Dead Shattered as he hits the track in the Outsider Racing League. Watch him rep the NTN logos every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on SYM Sim _TV on YouTube. Links are in the description of this episode if you're watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast feed. Of course, if you guys are new to the show, welcome. If you like what we do, we hope you'll follow us on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube, and maybe even tell your friends. Anything else that we need to get out of the way before we start the show?
I think we're golden, Pony Boy.
All right. We're gonna start with you, Padre. You have a game you want to talk about?
I do. Okay, so I got the privilege to test a game out that it was in beta for a while, but I got my hands on a full copy of it, and it comes out tomorrow, actually, I believe. So do be on the lookout for it. It is a tiny build game called the Totally Reliable Delivery Service. It's it, it's hard to explain in words that don't make it just sound like the goofiest thing you'll ever play, which is fair because it might be. But what it is, it's like a ragdoll physics delivery game where you actually take packages, from point A to point B, but with the ragdoll physics, it can be really hard. And it gets progressively more difficult because you end up actually like flying helicopters and taking ski-doos and jetpacks and all kinds of stuff trying to get these packages from point A to point B. Now, the funny part about it, more than anything else, is the fact that these packages are very damageable. You could fail. Some of them are literally explosives, and the ragdoll physics will launch you sky high. It'll throw you out into the water. It's just, in like, say, if you're doing, the helicopter delivery and something happens and you blow up. Well, or even if you just fail the delivery because you didn't meet the time limit, your helicopter will disappear. I mean, just right out from under you, and you'll free fall. It's hysterical. It One of the funnest games I've played with my friends. It's a up to 4-player online co-op. You can actually set private lobbies with like passwords and all kinds of stuff like that for kind of security purposes. There's so many editing options too for your character. You unlock more as you go. There's already a DLC for it coming out, and it's called the Dress Code DLC. It gives you more cosmetics, is all it is. But it's hysterically funny. It was one of the most, I mean, most fun 3 hours I think I've had playing a game in the longest time. So uh, I will say, from my personal standpoint, that when this releases tomorrow, pick it up. I don't even know how much it's going to be, but with it being tiny build, it's probably going to be, probably under, I would say under the $20 mark. And if you have some friends to play with, highly recommend. Um, Now some of the specs, with most of the games I cover, with me being the indie guy covering things like that, you don't have to have a top of the line computer to be able to run this thing. The recommended operating system is Windows 7 or newer. This, of course, is going to be. I'll cover the Mac here in a second. The processor, they recommend an i7 3770 or a Ryzen 5 1600. They do recommend 6 gigs of RAM. Still not very much. Of course, they want you to have a broadband internet connection for the online capabilities, and it only takes about 2 gigs of storage total. But if you are going to be running it on a Mac, it looks like a 10.6 or newer is the recommended. And if you're running a graphics card that is AMD, it recommends a Radeon Pro 560, which is pretty far back there. So super easy game to run on even a potato. Once again, highly recommend. It is also coming to Epic and Steam. You'll be able to get it on both. And then I think it's coming to all consoles too, if I remember correctly.
Excellent. So can you describe kind of like the core gameplay loops, just kind of in general? Like, what's an average game look like?
Okay, so it's almost like a nonstop type deal, right? There's not like particular levels that you progress through, but there are these random little kiosks just all across this open world. Like you can go anywhere in this world. There are different islands and stuff like that you can go to. Obviously, you start out at HQ where you do the little test delivery, but there are these little red boxes. You go over, you just pull a lever, and it spits out a box. And if you have to have a helicopter or something like that, it spawns one of those with you as well. And so that's, I mean, anywhere you find those kiosks, you go for it. Now you do want to the main goal is to collect all of these delivery kiosks. Whoops. And it does keep track for you, so it'll actually tell you if you've already done one or if one's new. So that's obviously good for keeping track. It'll tell you like how many how many bronze deliveries, silver deliveries, and gold deliveries, which will be based either on the damage of the package or timing, depending on what route it's going. Uh, so that's pretty much the only real gameplay loop of it is you just find these kiosks and deliver the package. If you haven't found a new one in a while, it'll actually give you a little hint. It'll show a little red delivery truck you can follow over, and it'll show you the closest one.
Awesome. Excuse me. Like
Same.
So the core gameplay loop, like being an open world, it almost reminds me a little bit of like GTA. Is there, outside of the running the deliveries, is there much else to the game? Is there like a guild system? Is there like a trade system? Is there like what kind of cosmetics are involved? All that kind of stuff.
There's not really any kind of system like that in play. You do earn money, like in your in-game dollars for doing deliveries, and like the better you do on the deliveries, the more money you'll make, and then you can use that to unlock cosmetics for the vehicles around the maps and stuff like that. But then as you complete these deliveries, you'll also unlock the rest of the cosmetics, and it's everything. Like you can customize your hair, hats, glasses. My dude was wearing like poop skid marked underwear. And we kind of camera angles got a little messed up, got all up in there. It was gross. I could smell it through the microphone. It was insane. No, but it was, it's kind of just one of those, like, it's not like a linear, like beat this game kind of thing. It's more of just kind of for goofing around with your friends, which it is, I streamed it for a couple hours yesterday, and the whole time, like there were times I was leaning off camera because I was laughing so hard. It was just like nonstop hilarity, and more than anything, that's it, the ragdoll physics make it so difficult. Like certain packages will be heavier, and you have to have two people to kind of drag it. And you try to put it on a forklift, and then they'll go to raise the forklift, but if you don't let go, it'll just raise you up with it, just like kind of ragdolling there. It more than anything, I think that's kind of like the direction they went with the game. Like there are objectives to do, but it's more of just like, here, let's give them something to have fun with and just be goofy with their friends.
Yeah. It looks like one of those games, kind of like Gang Beast or Octodad, where frustration is a mechanic, like the
Yes.
ragdolly, goofy, Gumby like proportions of the characters are a bigger part of the gameplay.
Yeah, and see, you mentioned Gang Beast, and that's kind of funny because when I was playing it, I actually had 3 separate people mention that it reminded them of Gang Beast. I myself have never seen or heard of it. So I didn't know, but that's kind of like the recurring theme that people are being reminded of, and it does. Those ragdoll physics play such a difficult part.
Yeah.
And there will be parts where, there'll be a little handle. You got one of them, you have to deliver a package to the middle of a Ferris wheel for some reason. And you have to have somebody controlling the Ferris wheel, and speed matters. You can grab the package and hang on to the outside of one of the carts, because if you find these little yellow bars, you can grab a hold of them. And whenever you're sitting there holding it, the person controlling it's trying to go slow enough to where it doesn't just yeet you off the side of the Ferris wheel, and it'll launch you off that Ferris wheel. You lose everything. But yeah, the ragdoll physics are definitely a key component in the frustration of the whole thing. But it's like kind of a purpose of it. And it makes it just that much more fun.
Yeah, another game I'm thinking of is Human Fall Flat. I've seen a lot of people play that.
That's the one it reminded me of that I saw. Like I got a very Human Fall Flat vibe from it. But it's like I said, it was so much fun. Like if you can get just some friends to play with, I mean, 9 out of 10 recommend it. Yeah. Because it's so much fun.
Green, what do you think?
So is it from the same makers as the Human Fall Flat game?
I do not believe so. I believe this one was actually made by Tiny Build. Yeah, no. We're 5 Games is the developer. Which it looks like they do the majority of the same games that are involved with Tiny Build. They might even be like a subsidiary of it. So I'm going to say no on that. But I could easily I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if it was.
I just looked up Human Fall Flat, and that's by No Break Games, Code Glue, and is published by Curve Digital, 505 Games, and DMM Games. So, as far as I can tell, just from a cursory search, no relation.
I will say this, just random, but kind of a throwback with the 505 Games, because they made they made Indivisible, which I covered recently. So random, but boom.
Yeah. What other thoughts or questions, Green?
So is it only a party of up to 4, or is it more players than just one
No,
group?
as of right now, it is up to 4. You can run it solo. Super difficult to do. I tried it in the beta. But you can have anywhere between 1 and 4 people as of right now. That may change later, because I think something similar happened with Secret Neighbor when it first came out. Was they expanded how many people you could have in it afterwards. I think they may be kind of waiting on a response to see how interested people are in it. Because I've also noticed it looked like they put a little bit more into the marketing of this. I was seeing ads for it everywhere. Like, I even saw ads for it on TikTok, which I've never seen any video game ads on there. So that was different. So I don't know. I could see them adding more if the response is heavy, because it looks like they're really investing a lot in this one. Because I mean, it's fun, so why not?
So I think a cool aspect that they could look into is like having more than just one group of people playing.
Yeah, kind of like
To
do
where
a server.
yeah, and so that way, like, say a group of 4 can take your package and steal your package and deliver it and make the money off of it themselves. I think that'd
Grand
be an
Theft
interesting
package.
concept. Exactly.
I mean, yeah, no, that would be incredible. As of right now, that is one thing. If you have a group of 4, or even we played with a group of 3, and you split off from each other, and somebody's working a delivery, you can't pull another kiosk until that delivery is either successful, canceled, or fails. So only one delivery can run at a time at this moment. Again, that's something. I mean, this game is technically pre-launch until tomorrow, so there's no telling what they might be able to do in the future with it. Hopefully they do keep expanding on it, because I love games that have replay value and can really draw a good laugh out of you, and this one falls in that category.
Nice. Anything else on totally reliable delivery service?
Oh, not for me. I think I got pretty much everything out there. I would say if I had to give it a rating, I'd say 9 out of 10. Honestly, 100%, just because sheer fun.
Yeah.
More than anything, just fun. No in-depth anything. Just pure adulterated fun. Not unadulterated. It is adulterated.
Excellent. I'm thinking we can move on to a game that I played, and I actually just released a YouTube video on. It's called Embr. I played the demo during the Steam Games Festival. Just right off the bat, real quick, it's a firefighting sim. Some system requirements for you guys: Windows 7 or higher, dual core, 2.4 gigahertz, or Intel Core 2 Duo E66000 or better. 2 gigs of RAM, DirectX version 9, broadband internet, and 2 gigs of 2 gigs of storage available. So not a whole heck of a lot in terms of the processing power is required, it seems. This game, like I said, it's a firefighting sim. Whoops, sorry. I apparently did not mute the music video. Or the music in the video. So the game, like I said, is a firefighter sim where you select a class and you respond to fires that happen on the map. It's kind of like you're sort of like an firefighting Uber. So you kind of respond to gigs as a firefighter. You have a couple different maps. I played all 3 of the maps that were available. The 5 classes. are have like a different range of gadgets and tools that you can use to rescue the clients that are found on the map. Things like breaching charges, axes, sprinklers, ladders, grappling hooks, and a few other items. The basic idea is that you try to rescue everyone, try to get as much money out of the house as you can, and also try to get the best rating possible for any aftermatch bonuses. Each level has a unique obstacle and problems to solve. Like there's one level that has poisonous gases. There's all sorts of like electrical wires everywhere. There's just like some strange building layouts that you have to deal with. Like the door to this building is like somewhere like on the other side, even though the building takes up like one half of the side of the building you're on. There's also like boxes and stuff that you have to destroy to like get to people. But there's also like solutions on the map for those problems. Like there's like a fan for like the poisonous gas, so you can like push it out of the way or disperse it. There's like fire escapes, and some other options around the maps. But I will say from the demo, the game plays really well on my rig. I had very few issues with stuttering or frame drops, except for like right away. And I think right now the video is when I had that issue where I like broke down the door and just like started spraying water on the fire. And after that, I like caused all sorts of electrical problems. Yeah, right here. And just like electricity everywhere, and my frames started to dip just because there's like electricity everywhere. Which, by the way, guys, don't put fires out. Don't put electrical or grease fires out with water. That's a safety tip here from Danie to you.
PSA.
PSA. The more you know. The game has a super clean UI and aesthetic, which I really like. It has a very simple art style. Everything is pretty readable and understandable on the screen. But in the demo, there was a moment that I saw that the UI can break, and that was like when I was typing in my name. I backspaced. For whatever reason, I don't remember why I backspaced, because I think I spelled my name right. But when I did that, it broke like the text box that was on the screen, and put it like next to like it just like merged with like another element of the UI. I didn't get a chance to try out the multiplayer. I did play all 3 maps that were in the demo. All the options were there, though, it seems, which has me excited. I could see larger, more complex maps where thinking about your team composition and really working together as a team would be important. Because there were certain parts of the maps that I'm like, oh, I kind of wish I had this kind of tool. That would be really nice right now. So that's definitely like an interesting thing about it, and it's of course goofy because like you see all the like weird places the clients find themselves, and kind of like the shit talking ratings they leave you. It's like, oh, just kind of wish you were a little faster saving me. And then of course they're just like sitting there on their phones, not actually saving themselves, or they're shitting on the toilet, and you have to like just rip them off the toilet and be like, we gone.
I have to say, I think it is hilarious how you yeet them into the safe zone.
Yeah, just on a bunch of mattresses.
Whip them. Just whip them.
That's beautiful. I mean, you got to think though, when you think about it, the whole idea of people sitting around on their phone during a disaster instead of taking precautions is very real world now.
I don't want to belittle the people of Iowa or the Midwest in general, but are you even an Iowan if you haven't sat out and watched a tornado?
Same with Oklahoma.
I just did it Saturday. There was a funnel cloud a block and a half away. It was coming down. I was outside watching it come down. It was wild.
When you're born in Oklahoma, it actually comes standard with your birth certificate that you are a licensed storm chaser. That's just it's part of it.
True.
Yeah, the people of the central United States just really enjoy standing outside and, oh wow, look at all that lightning, and there's a funnel cloud about 2 miles away.
If Joe Exotic can do it, so can I.
So overall, really fun game. One that I actually did add to my Steam wish list. I couldn't find a price yet on Steam. It is by Muse Games, so I feel confident in their ability to put something out. They're folks that put out like Guns of Icarus and stuff. I expect it to be somewhere between $15-$25 USD, but probably no higher than 30. I wouldn't pay more than 30 for this game. I would feel comfortable anywhere between 15 to 25 myself. Overall, fun, enjoyable. I like it's readable, it runs well, it has a nice aesthetic to it. I think it's funny, you know, the idea of basically playing Uber for, you know, a gig economy firefighter. The tools are fun, if not a little wonky, but that's, you know, part of it. Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it.
I would say if you're going to yeet people onto mattresses after you've rescued them from a fire, I'm sold. I'm in. I will play this game. I will. It's
yeah. This is like a good Friday night get drunk game. Like this is a you and your friends hop into a Discord call and you just get fucking blitzed and start yelling at each other. Like that's the kind of game this is.
This is the closest we're ever gonna get to an actual Fire Force game. And I want that in my life. I want a Fire Force game. So like this is like a you know when you really want an Oreo, but that like Dollar General brand has to come
Mr.
through.
Creamy.
Yeah, Mr. Creamy. Yeah.
I don't know if that's the Dollar General brand, but I think it's close enough.
Yeah, it's we got
my brand.
It is.
So what you're telling me though is the way it works is if we're gonna make this a Fire Force game, we're just gonna have to role play, like GTA role play style. We'll just get a group of people together. Everybody can pick a character, and then just go yeeting people onto mattresses. Because I'm for it.
Putting out fires.
And putting out fire. I'm with it.
But like you don't have to kill any fire demons.
Yet.
True. Valid. All right, valid. I got you.
You can still play this game though to the sound like the song Mayday
by Coltrane.
Have a good time. Yeah. Just like on repeat.
Take what you want and leave now. You're wearing out your welcome.
Like I instantly like that first half of the season. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. But then they started playing that song in the intro. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, bud.
Yeah.
I need this in my life.
For those who don't know, Fire Force is a new shonen anime that came out this last fall season. It's about basically firefighters with fire powers killing fire demons. And
it's wild.
The second OP is by a band called Cold Rain, a Japanese band, but they sound like a heavier Japanese Breaking Benjamin.
And oh my god, they do.
They're metal as fuck. I love it.
The song gets you hype, and the song is in English. Yeah. It's really good.
Fantastic.
So
by the way, they are making a Demon Slayer game for PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that. Was it a fighting game?
Yeah, it's gonna be as far as I'm aware, it's gonna be open world. I'm waiting for more information before I actually bring it to the show.
Gotcha. Yeah. Anything else on Embr?
No, I think it'd be a fun community game to play with just the boys one night.
Yeah.
Once it full releases, it seems like it would be a lot of fun as long as it's within that price range.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely it's one of those ones. A good community night. I think if you have friends who you can just kind of yell and say stupid shit with, it's that kind of game.
Step one, have friends.
Step one, have friends.
I don't have friends.
We are over here sad boy hours, aren't we, Green?
You gotta do the Fast and the Furious. I don't have friends. I got family. A family.
Cool. If there's nothing else on Embr, we will take our break real quick, and then we'll come back and talk about all the fucking news we got.
So much
Hell
news.
Yeah.
News me, Dad.
News me, Dad. All right, guys, we'll be back.
Hi.
We'll be back in 2 minutes. Be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
All right, and we're clear. You guys ready to get back into it?
Hell yeah.
Yep. Let's go.
All right. So, Green.
You want to talk about some PS5 specs, huh?
Yeah, we're like 2 weeks behind on this, but better late than never. There were things.
If we're gonna cover one late, we might as well be covering the one that always falls behind. No, I'm kidding. I'm just trying to start a fight.
Starting a real fight.
Let's start a riot.
Yeah, so PlayStation 5 specs, it was in our defense, it was kind of overshadowed by other more important news. Global,
like diseases and stuff.
Yeah, global pandemics and the bungling of of dealing with it by elected officials.
Everyone freaking out, pulling their hairs out.
Yeah, us having to find emergency toilet paper.
Yeah, everyone buying the fucking toilet paper like it is like gold, and they're just gonna eat fucking chimichangas every night and Taco Bell, and just get fucking shotgun diarrhea everywhere. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm still salty.
Yeah, like people just buying toilet paper like they drink coffee 24/7 and also just eat Chinese food.
It's like they fucking.
I feel attacked right now. Yeah, I didn't even buy any toilet paper.
Okay, let's get into the PS5 specs.
All right, so we're gonna start out with the real meat, the real internal guts here. They're reporting the CPU is going to be an AMD Zen 2 based CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 gigahertz. And that's going to be a varying frequency. And that one is a custom made one for PlayStation by AMD. It's not going to be one that you can just buy off the shelf. The GPU is going to be a custom RDNA 2, which is also, as I said, custom for AMD, specifically for PlayStation. They are also doing the GPU for Xbox as well. So I'm not sure how big these are going to compare. It is they're reporting 10.28 teraflops of processing power, 36 computing units at 2.2 1.23 gigahertz, which is a variable frequency as well. Which is right around roughly a 2080 Super 2080 area. Which I mean, it is going to have ray tracing with the new RDNA, so that's intense to have that in a console now. Welcome, console players. To there's going to be 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 memory. The memory bandwidth is going to be 448 gigabytes per second. Internal storage is going to be a custom 825 gigabyte solid state drive. I don't know why that they would do such a weird offshoot number as 825. I don't know why wouldn't they just shoot for 1,000? You know, just go terabyte. Well, honestly, we all know they want to sell external hard drives. Got IO out throughput of 5.5 gigabits per second. So they are reporting a compressed of 8.9 or 829 gigabits per second. So that's anything that passes through USB. There's an expandable storage slot. It's an NVMe solid state storage slot, so you can get an extended memory, a terabyte, 2 terabyte. And then there's also USB support for hard drives discs, like the classic HDDs. Optical drive is going to be a 4K UHD Blu-ray drive, which I was expecting anyways, because Sony had like the proprietary stuff for Blu-ray for the longest time. So that's really the guts of it. Yeah, you guys have any questions on that?
On PS4, because you mentioned Sony wanting to sell the external hard drives. PS4, I mean, was it just any external? I mean, could I just go to and get like a 1 terabyte Toshiba and plug it in via USB?
Technically, you could. You could do that with both the Xbox and PlayStation. However, PlayStation saves at a FAT style format, FAT, and a FAT32, which is just a style of save. So if you bought a hard like a solid state that was set to something else, you'd have to reformat the drive to save at FAT.
Yeah, which is what you have to do. I mean, you have to reformat drives between Windows and my Macs. There are several times. Go ahead.
You have to manually do it. Like you have to plug it into a computer and manually do it with solid states, because solid states don't have an IO on them. So you can just do it manually, like on the actual solid state. You have to use something else. So if you don't have a laptop and you wanted to save money and buy the solid state, just make sure that it did save FAT32.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, I mean, this is pretty much what we had been hearing in the rumor mill for a while. So I when I saw this, I wasn't super surprised. A lot of this, I mean, outside of like this, bandwidth and the internal storage and stuff like that, but like in terms of like the computing power, a lot of that kind of goes over my head. I don't have a way to conceptualize that really myself, other than just like people talk about it in terms of computers and similar stuff. So I don't really have any questions or thoughts on that, because I struggle with that side of things in terms of like the processing power and stuff. If there's anyone out there who does like computer science and is like a hardware wizard and really wants to like get into the nitty gritty with us, hit us up on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter at Danie K. But yeah, no, it seems like what we were thinking. Fairly comparable, if not just a little bit under the Xbox Series X, but
under the purported Xbox. Yes, because we don't have any hard numbers yet.
Yeah,
this is actually an actual full spread statement from Sony versus Xbox's guys saying we're gonna have 12 teraflops of processing power, and they're
Yeah.
going to be fantastic.
And really, it's not going to matter until reviewers get their hands on the machines and can do
absolutely
benchmarking. Anyways, right?
100%.
However you do benchmarking with consoles.
That sounded like the most fanboy reaction I've ever heard.
I have hated Xbox since Xbox 360. And the reason why
reportedly
actually okay. No, I've hated I have not been a fan of Xbox since Xbox 360 because I went through 4 of them. So yeah, I Red Ring 3 of them, and then on the 4th replacement, I sold it and got a PlayStation 3, and I never had an issue.
You know, that's fair enough. You voted with your wallet 3 out of 4 times.
3 out of 4 times. Yeah. Yep, true.
Sorry.
You want to go ahead?
I was gonna have Rev talk. What do you think, Rev?
Yeah. I guess he can talk.
Oh, is it my turn again?
You Xbox
Already?
plebeian.
Oh no, we're talking all PC right now, buddy. I'm assuming we're diving off into our next topic, correct?
I still have a few things.
Oh, you have a few things. Oh well,
Yeah.
do the thing.
Okay, you don't have any thoughts on the?
Oh no, once I ditch consoles, I don't care
Turtles?
anymore.
See you, peasants.
It'll be interesting to see how the PS5 and the Xbox pan out with their prices. And the release date, especially due to the whole COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic that's going on. Another thing with the DRAM and NAND memory, NAND memory, which is fundamental to the computing hardware, the actual brains of the operation, is projected to rise in price in the next few months, which is more than likely going to plague the price tags of the consoles, as well as PC parts. So, especially speaking as a now full-time PC player, if you're interested in building a PC, now would be probably the time to jump on that. And then if you're waiting for these new consoles to come out, just be wary that may affect the price tag. Sony also currently states that there's no release delays due to the COVID-19, so that is possibly a good sound. However, that could change in the future depending on increased confirmed cases and delays and stuff like that with all the other parts and manufacturing that goes along with it.
Yeah. Somebody had a really good question, and I think it's worth answering if you know the answer. Is PS5 going to be backwards compatible?
They say that they're going to be backwards compatible. PlayStation 4 currently has like a system that has like old PS3 and PS2 games on it, which they'll probably port over. And I'm pretty sure from what I've been reading, they'll also be able to play PS4 games that, like, if you have a disc of it. So
yeah,
that's what they're saying. They said that with a lot of new consoles, and sometimes it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'll see it when it happens.
Yeah. One thing I was actually thinking about when I was hearing about backwards compatibility, because a lot of times people have complaints about why would I buy this within the first, this new console within the first few months. Especially like with Xbox One and PS4, sales kind of slogged for a little bit because there wasn't that many good version exclusives, or weren't that many good games. I mean, that kind of happens in recent year, or up until really recently, that kind of slogged. But now there's a bunch of free-to-play games that are really good, that are basically on every single platform, like Apex Legends, and Fortnite and Destiny 2, that I can see for sure helping people move on to that next step.
For sure.
So yeah, another thing that may or may not affect prices, kind of depending on this current administration, will be tariffs. So keep an eye on the news when it comes to tariffs, because almost all the parts for any of these consoles and any PC parts have to be manufactured, or are mostly manufactured in China or in Chinese factories. So that's just another thing to be aware of when it comes to the prices of consoles and stuff. Other than that, I don't really have any other comments or thoughts to express on PS5.
I mean, it's really just seeing how the reported specs are actually going to pan out when people get their hands on.
Yeah. Awesome. Rev, anything else?
No, that pretty much covered any questions I would have had.
Cool.
Very concise.
Very concise. You want to go on ahead and we can talk about this next story?
Take two. Yes, let us talk about
two.
We're going to be diving into a few of these interesting little two of them. I say a few, couple. These little name your own price sales that are starting to kind of pop up out of nowhere. Now, the first one that came to my attention was the one on itch.io, which is, a lot of people release their games on there to kind of test and browser compatible and stuff like that. But they released a name your own price bundle that had a whole bunch load of indie games and stuff like that on it. If I remember correctly, a lot of them were going to be people who were at it had something to do with GDC, is what I recall, kind of being attached to it. Now, a lot of these games, there's 167 of them. A lot of them people are not really going to know, and I think that's why they did the name your own price thing, which if I remember reading the website correctly, you do have to do at least $10 to get all the games. Which is fine. I mean, that $10 for 167 games that's a gamble I'm willing to take. I don't know about anybody else, but like I said, a lot of them are going to be kind of low key, probably never heard of them before type of games. I noticed a lot of side scroller platformer style puzzlers, stuff like that. The one that got my attention the most was the Humble Bundle one. So Humble released a Conquer COVID-19 Name Your Price bundle. Now, again, there is a minimum. It is $30, but with that $30, you get $1,071 worth of games and ebooks, which include games like Undertale and Hollow Knight, Wizard of Legend, Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. The one I'm excited about because I also got this one. Was Brutal Legend. It also comes with Stick Fight, Jackbox Party Pack. It's like a wide variety of these games that a lot of them have been out for a while, but they're still popular games. A lot of them are a lot of fun to play. I also noticed that some of the books, we can even cover those because it's part of the bundle.
Yeah. Can I real quick? Just
mhm.
for transparency's sake, I don't think they have affiliate links out for this bundle, but we are a Humble Bundle affiliate. So just keep that in mind, just transparency's sake. I'll let you continue, Rev.
Boom. Oh no. Disclaimer. But some of the books you can get in here, you get e-books and audiobooks. There's one that's like a welcome to Lovecraft lore type of deal. There's one that's coping skills, tools and techniques for every stressful situation. Then there's also Fairy Tale Happy's Adventures Volume 1. So there's some manga in there. Did not notice this, but Volume 1 of The Boys. That in and of itself is fantastic. And I also noticed you do get access to Music Maker EDM Edition. You get that and a $10 voucher code for in-app purchases. So there's so many things that come along with this one. And again, it's like name your own price, but to get all this stuff, there's a minimum of $30, and there are dozens of games, most of which you've at least heard of. But of course, the Humble Bundle one goes 100% to charity. There are 4, I believe, charities, yes, that you can kind of divvy up what it's going to. You got your Partners in Health, Doctors Without Borders, International Rescue Committee, and Direct Relief. So those are the charities that are being benefited through this. And again, this one's a 100%. That's why we believe there's not an affiliate link with it, since it's 100% going to charity. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, the amount of games that are in this one, but both of them are designed to help people in this kind of weird, chaotic times that we're living in, both on the consumer side, because a lot of us are stuck at home with nothing to do, and it gives us the access to so many things, um, you know, that at a very, very inexpensive price. And then also it benefits at least on the $10 one, the itch.io one benefits the developers that, basically out of pocket cost due to the COVID-19 thing. I actually believe there was a statement released on it, and it was by gamedev.world. And they said, with the news of GDC's official cancellation, many marginalized developers are facing the reality that they've invested what sometimes comes down to years of savings into an event that will no longer happen. Many developers around the world do not have a way to refund their visas, lodging, and travel costs. There was a Twitch stream announcing this, and it is only the HIO one is only available until April 3rd. I believe the Humble Bundle one is the same time frame. I will double check that, and we can put it in show notes. But I believe that it's the same time frame. It's just a few days, but it's really good to see them, trying to take a stand to help these people who have put a lot of time and money into this convention that they're not going to even be able to go to. So, $40 total for both bundles, and then you could obviously donate more. It's hard to pass up. I myself picked up both of them, but that's just, that was just because I love indie games. But yeah, it's really good to see them, take a stand on both sides, whether it be just for the charity or the indie one. Okay. I'm getting news here that it looks like the Humble one ends on the 6th. So there are a few more days in that one than the other one, but just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 hours, 6 days, 17 hours, and 6 minutes from exactly now.
Okay, so yeah, that would put it on the 6th. But yes, get them. Support the charities, support the developers. A lot of people. This is something that's kind of close to my heart, especially the fact that I'm always doing indie game stuff. For them to be able to put forth something to help these devs out is important to me, and so that's kind of why I'm a little bit more about it than maybe some other people. But it's just my personal stance is I mean, I'm going to push this thing just for their sake, because they can't keep putting out content if they're out thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's hard to have a business when you keep losing money.
Mm-hmm. Especially for something that was absolutely no faults of anybody.
Yeah,
any particular person. It's just.
Well, I think we can think of one person.
Yeah, there might be one, but that's for the other podcast that we've talked about.
Well, I was talking about the one guy that ate a bat.
Oh, okay. Well,
one dude who ate undercooked bat.
I honestly think that all this came from the Morbius trailer. That's what it was. I mean, if Jared Leto didn't go over there and mess with them bats, that's all it was. It's Morbius. Nothing else.
Ironically, this is very coincidental. Very coincidental.
The one guy in China, he just took the wrong lesson from Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, he living in the 80s rock star lifestyle is just not the way to go. Do coke, not bats.
Do coke, not bats.
Disclaimer: don't do coke.
Well, you can drink Coca-Cola. # not sponsored, but don't do cocaine.
You're adults. You can do what you want.
We're all fairly libertarian here. You guys can guess what we actually
live and let live, man. That's just don't eat bats.
Oh shit, there's something I was gonna mention, but I completely forgot. Just like in general, I know a lot of people are just kind of out of work right now, but if you're someone who is still working and has some means, do consider donating some goods, hygiene products, canned goods, non-perishables to your local food shelter for the people who can't work, who are going to be struggling. There's been a lot of talks here in the United States about like stimulus package and stuff like that. But that might not be for a little while. Some people are still, tomorrow, we're doing this live on the 31st of March. Tomorrow's the first of the month. There's going to be a lot of landlords who are still going to demand their money. So there are people out there in need who do need products, like non-perishable foods and hygiene products like soap and toothpaste and stuff like that. So if you are someone of means, please consider donating that kind of stuff to your local food shelters. Yeah,
even the Salvation Army is a good choice as well.
Yeah, to your local shelters, Salvation Army, to your food banks and such. Anything else on the name your price packages that we mentioned?
No, but I will be covering in future episodes. I'll be covering the games from this itch.io package, so that way people could have an idea of what they missed out on if they didn't get it.
Yeah, and by the way, itch.io is a fantastic website. You can find all sorts of like student projects, kind of up and coming, devs. I've played several games off of itch.io recently. One I'll probably talk about at a later time. It's called Peaks of Yore, yeah. But if we're good on that topic, we'll move on to some news from Steam. You guys good with that?
Oh, let's go Steam bandwidth.
Yeah, so Steam, obviously, with a lot of people who are now having to telecommute for work and work from home, there's just a larger increase of bandwidth usage on home networks. A lot of Americans are still under data caps from their ISPs. I really hope that ISPs maybe lift those, but who knows? So like I said, increase bandwidth usage during this current global health crisis. Steam has made some suggestions, and they've also made some changes to how it works to help you manage your bandwidth usage better. So the update that they had is, and this is directly from Steam's own blog, is, quote, "For games that haven't been played recently, Steam has already been scheduling updates for the next off-peak local time period. Beginning this week, we are now spreading these updates out over several more days. Only games played within the last 3 days will be updated immediately. As always, the game will begin updating immediately if you request to play it, and you can always initiate an update or pause it indefinitely through the download manager. We're also looking into additional solutions to help on our side," which is nice. So if you haven't noticed, you can manage all your downloads and stuff on Steam. Steam also put out in the same blog put out some tips for people. The first one being schedule auto update windows. This will ensure that Steam doesn't start updating a game while you're in the middle of your workday. Number 2, if you don't play a game in your library often, you can keep it installed but choose to no longer download automatic updates, which is what I do. I always set a game, if I have it installed, but I just haven't played it in a while, I will just turn off the automatic updates. And then if I really haven't touched it in a while, I usually uninstall, just to free up space on my hard drives. Number 3, you can self-throttle your own connection to Steam. This might ease the load on your network connection and may help ease bandwidth loads if network traffic in your area needs to be reduced. And then number 4 from Steam, again, this is from their own page. Take advantage of library folder settings so you can move infrequently played games from an SSD to a storage HDD. This is usually better for you and your bandwidth rather than uninstalling the game and needing to re-download it later. So some tips to help manage your bandwidth if you, first off, are just commuting from home and having to do a lot of things from home. But, if you're also just, you have your entire family in the house and, the kids are watching Netflix and your wife is telecommuting and you are trying to game, it's a lot of devices connected to the network. or if your wife is trying to telecommute and your kids are in like separate rooms, trying to watch Netflix, and then all of a sudden your game starts to download and you tank the entire network. Things you want to avoid. Yeah, any thoughts on that? Any other, do you guys have any suggestions for managing bandwidth at all?
Kick the kids off Netflix. They don't need it. Send them out. Well, don't send them outside in public.
I was going to say, go outside.
That's not a good time. Away from people, but outside. A yard.
Go through all your settings on all of your devices and just drop the quality of the video streaming.
Here's the one I suggest: is if you have a router that has a mobile app, always monitor your router on your mobile app. Monitor what devices are connecting, what devices are disconnecting, how much each device is using. Make sure the devices that are connecting are actually ones inside your home. Make sure that you don't have a neighbor kid who lives across the way, who your kids brought over and gave the Wi-Fi password. Make sure he's not connected to your Wi-Fi and stealing your internet.
Turn your phones to like ultra power saving mode at nights when you're getting ready to go to bed. That way, like calls, texts, and your clock are all that really work.
Mm-hmm.
So that way you're not just idly pulling bandwidth like from updates on your phone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big one that I've learned to use. I turn mine on airplane mode because I don't want anybody calling me at night anyways. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I think if you can get an app for your router, that would be a IQ 200 move.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah, there are so many people who just forget that a lot of routers just have apps. And I reset my router. I check my router from work all the time. Because I'm paranoid. But I'm also oh, I got the podcast tonight, I probably should restart the router. I'm not home right now, so I might as well just restart it from work. And
what could you possibly have to be paranoid about? Nobody's gonna get in there and mess with your stuff, Danny.
I don't know what it is. Oh, you bitch. I just realized what you were saying. That's what we call a callback.
He never said anything about nothing about being a tiger.
So yeah, that's the Steam bandwidth management, the update, and some suggestions they made. Any other thoughts on this?
No, I think you kind of took the reins and covered that one really well.
Yeah, you
did great.
I forgot to make a title for this one, but I do have one more story that we can talk about. A game called Vigor is coming to Switch. So Vigor is a free-to-play third-person shooter, tactical looter shooter survival game, free on Xbox One. It's developed by Bohemia Interactive, the devs behind the Arma games. This looter shooter survival game is now coming to the Nintendo Switch. On their official page, they said they are adding the Switch first to increase the player base, offer cross play sessions, and in-game optimizations. The Switch's closed beta starts on the 9th with a full release at a later date, which is cool. I think the Switch really doesn't have any titles like that, so that's a nice addition for the Switch players. This is a game that interests me, and I would love to play it, but I don't have an Xbox One or a Switch. I'm really just hoping for a PS port or a PC port. What's up, Rev?
I was supposed to play that once upon a time and never got around to it.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why I included it in here. Because I told you to play it when you're on Xbox still.
This is his way of getting back at me. This is what it is.
See, now you have two devices that can play it.
My son has two devices that can play it. Like I said, once I got on PC, that console trash got away from me. Disclaimer, I don't hate consoles, I just don't use them.
So I mean, again, cool thing for Switch players. Not a lot of first-person shooters or third-person shooters or anything like that on Switch. It's a nice addition. That's all I have in my notes. Is there anything else that you guys want to talk about?
I think we got everything patched out.
Yeah, that went like just smooth.
Right? No technical problems. I'm looking at the time. I'm like, God damn, we went through that nice and slick.
That was hot.
It was real hot. It's like we put Astroglide on it.
Moist.
All right.
Hobbing.
MrGreenElite, what's coming up on your channel?
I'm gonna be playing definitely some more Apex and Modern Warfare. They did release Modern Warfare 2's campaign remastered today. So I'm definitely gonna pick that up. That right now is on I know for the PlayStation Store it's $19.99. I have not checked it out on Battle.net yet, which is where I'll be buying it anyways. So that's something I'm interested to see. It's a PlayStation exclusive right now.
Yeah, someone in chat just said it's a PlayStation exclusive right now. The look for the podcast listeners, GreenElite's face right now is that of sorrow and pain.
And I'm eating it up because it's ironically a PlayStation exclusive.
I'm so done with Activision. I'm uninstalling. It's the third time they've made me say what the fuck on this podcast.
I love it. I love it.
You have a PlayStation now.
I do, but I didn't buy Modern Warfare, like the new one on PlayStation. I bought it on PC. I've been playing Warzone specifically on PC. I have not turned on my PlayStation 4 in over 3 months, and I don't want to turn it back on. So, but yeah. So we'll see how this week goes. You can always, as always, you can catch me on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/MrGreenElite. You can also hit me up on my Twitter, Instagram, Discord, YouTube, Facebook, Pornhub, on OnlyFans. You know, everywhere wholesome content is found.
All right, you treacherous son of a bitch. What's up with your channel, Rev?
What? Treacherous. The audacity. So last week I actually decided to go ahead and throw Undertale's a try, and I was actually enjoying it, and so I started the genocide run today. So tomorrow I'm going to start try to continue the genocide run, and then after that I think I'm going to start working my way through all these games on these name your price deals. I'm gonna start working on them, and any of them that are like particularly short will go to YouTube. Everything else will be on Twitch. You can find me just about everywhere. RevSpin, maybe RevSpin TV. Most social medias I had to add TV to it because of reasons. But yeah, it's just RevSpin on most things. And yeah, so I got a Zebo's Funhouse lined up for those of you who don't know what that is. It's a good time. I got one of those going, so it's. But aside from that, it's just going to be kind of, we'll see what happens.
Excellent. Coming up on my channel, just playing just a lot more Minecraft. I paid for a realm. I'm gonna fucking stick with that realm until the payment is up. I've been doing some YouTube content, so go check that out. You guys can check out my gameplay of Embr. Just look up Danie K on YouTube. Follow me on Twitch, Danie K, DANIECAE. That's how you spell everything for my socials, including my Twitter and Instagram. Let's see. I can't think of anything else that we have going on right now. Just like a quick little aside, the governor of Iowa extended the closing of restaurants and bars until the 30th of April. So right now we will have to reschedule the Iowa Online Creators Meetup. I have not gotten contact with the venue as of this time. That is something I'll have to do and kind of see where we're at with that. So just know that that the date was April 25th. It is now TBD entirely. so just follow me or MrGreenElite for updates on that. Otherwise, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode. Guys, we appreciate all of you for joining us this week. Be sure to follow everyone on their own individual Twitch channels and social media accounts. If you guys missed any part of the show, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, everywhere podcasts are found. If you like what we do and want to help support the show, you guys can do that in a few ways. First, you can subscribe on YouTube, give us a like on this video. You guys can give us a rating and review on the podcast platform of your choice, or share us on your own social media pages and tell your friends. That's the best way actually to support us, is to tell your friends about us. We really appreciate that. I see someone messed with my notes here, but I'm gonna say it anyways. You guys, remember that I'm a sexy little tiger. Thanks, and have a wonderful
that was not me.
Have a wonderful rest of your weekend, or of your week. Holy shit, I am struggling with that last sentence. Guys,
I love it.
We will see you later. Bye.